right across here is the proscenium PA system, which is the rock and roll part of the band sound system, is what I would call it, because it's like 30 feet above the stage, and you have, in a positional sense, it's called a proscenium PA system. Directly above that, about another 30 feet up, is the immersive sound system, which goes all the way to the sides, left and right, all the way across the actual front of the building as you look at it here. And then up behind us, and I reverse my role going all the way back here, we have the surround sound. Now you ask what's so different and what's so incredible about that. First and foremost, I've lined up the audio so that Edge is positioned here, and I have, coming off the console, I've 32 speaker locations all over the entire room, where I can send audio from any one channel. I can send it to 32 different locations. So what I've done, and what I refer to it as, is pictorial audio. So when you're looking at Edge on stage, directly above Edge in, let's say, columns 5 and 6, is the stereo mix of what Edge is playing, directly above his head. So when you see Edge, you hear Edge, and it's done in a way that it's, I mean, the only way I can describe it is pictorial audio. I mean, you see and hear it at the same time. Now that follows the building all the way up through the immersive system, all the way to the surround sound, all the way to the very back. And the same with Bono. Bono's in the middle. He's in like 7 and 8, so he goes all the way up here and all the way to the very back of the building as well. And Bram is the same. He's a 9 and 10, and follows all the way up here. And Adam then is in 11 and 12, and that goes all the way up here. To describe that, like in the proper sense, you would never have something like that in a conventional system, simply because a conventional system, the design configuration is left, right, and you have your sub bass, which is basically the center image. Now, when I was putting all of this together, and in the context of the 2 years it took us to basically do the acoustic mapping, make everything such to an extent that it would work firsthand here in the Sphere. At Ardmore Studios in Dublin, at our rehearsal, I set up a mock-up system of what the specification for the Sphere was. So I was working under a grid that had 32 speakers around, so I was able to put sounds in various different speakers to see how they worked in the context of when the band are performing. You need the rock and roll part of the band to be right here, so that you get the punch, you get the energy, you get everything that's required in that sense. And then when Edge goes into, when he creates the Edge orchestra per se, he will go into using effects like the shimmer and orchestrations with echoes and treatments and stuff like that. We put that up into the immersive system, and we can basically then, through the technology that's part of the building, we can move it left or we can move it right. So it could start over here and then move right away across the room to the other side of the room.
So you do like a solo?
And that could be a solo, it could be the shimmer coming in to basically broaden the actual choral aspect of the chord sequence that he's playing, or something like that. So it enhances it in a way that it's quite extraordinary, because when you make it move, there is a wow factor, because you can see people following it, and they're actually moving their heads and stuff like that. Even though every seat in the house has the perfect stereo image, when you get effects and treatments like that, it does create a wow sensation. Like there's a couple of songs where we use that, for instance, in The Fly, when you look at the show and in a context of the visuals for the fly, there's all the numbers that are on the screen, and the screen comes down from the very top. So when Edge's guitar solo comes in, it follows the screen coming down. So the guitar solo comes down from on high, from above, and it not only is it wow in the context of the screen that you're visually seeing, but there's a wow in the audio aspect of it, because it creates that it connects with that imagery, and it creates that whole sense of the guitar coming down from on high.
Yeah, amazing.
And we have other ones as well, where when Terry World comes in and stuff like that, we have a lot of the orchestration and stuff like that, where we move stuff so that it has an orchestration like strings and stuff like that. It gives the perspective that it's slow, but there's movement. For instance, a song like Where the Streets Have No Name, the keyboard pad for that starts up in the surround system, and it starts to move across the top of the building, like from left to right in the surround. Then that follows down through the immersive system, down into the proscenium system, down to the stage to join Edge's guitar intro, and the connectivity there is it's absolutely amazing. You can absolutely feel it, yeah. Well, I mean, I started out 73 to 78 with Rory Gallagher, and that was an education in itself. And you know, everything I know probably was learned in that period of time. And the thing about U2 is that like everything is so different, constantly changing and changing and changing. I mean, different in a way that it's, you know, we develop and develop and develop and develop. So it is, you're never left kind of twiddling your thumbs as such, really, because there's no time for that, you know. I thoroughly enjoyed my time. I did 3 tours with REM, which was really great. I also did 3 tours with the Cranberries, and Dolores when she did Dolores O'Riordan when she did a solo tour as well. So in the context of the, you know, that though they happened in downtime, as in the band were in the studio making a record. I mean, I was involved in all of that up until, and I suppose it's quite unique really, up until the up until the Achtung Baby album, which Bono says that I annoyed him so much every day when I came into Hansaton Studios saying, Achtung Baby, I got the plan. So he said to me, you're going to suffer. And I'm going to call the album after that. And I've been suffering ever since.